Brian Noble, you said after the Toulouse game you wanted to see an improvement. Do you believe that's the case after pushing Salford close this evening?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought, in many respects, we're disappointed we didn't come away with the win. The second half they became a bit more direct. They probably kicked the ball better than us, and I think we only had one set in their half, so it was a reflection of how hard we had to work after a 6-day turnaround. So I'm really proud of the players' efforts. I'm pleased with their application, and I think it was more like the team that we thought we had than at the back end of the Toulouse game.
How difficult has it been going into this, not knowing who Salford were going to play tonight? I know you said when we spoke yesterday it's been a distraction and you wanted the focus to be on the Bradford players themselves, but that sort of outside noise, how difficult has it been? It's not been like any normal game this week.
Well, of course it's disruptive if you choose to make it that way. We did play very well in the second half against Toulouse. I thought the first half we were great, and so we had a few things to put right ourselves, so you get yourself into a mindset where you don't concentrate on the opposition. Clearly we saw the drama, everybody foolish not to read the papers, and the players know, but they came tonight and I thought their efforts showed that they were unlucky not to come away with the result. I thought they did some really good things, but credit to Salford at the back end of that second half. They managed to stay at our end of the field, which made it difficult for us. And an element of fatigue kicks in, the part-time after a 6-day turnaround to Toulouse. But I'm absolutely thrilled with what we dished up tonight, and I think it shows that if we continue that kind of attitude throughout, week in, week out, we'll be a force in the Championship.
After Kieran Gill scored that try, Brian, did you think that it was on? There was a potential shock.
I always think it's on. I don't care what the scoreline is. As long as the clock's still running, you've got a chance, and that's where you have to approach games. But we couldn't quite find. We made a couple of half breaks. Couldn't quite find a way back in there, and you have to give Salford credit. All the desperation that everybody's been talking about them. You could see that they were desperate for a win, and they managed to. They've got good enough players. Their roster's still pretty decent roster, and they found a way to win.
You've mentioned that 6-day turnaround and Bradford having that fatigue late on.
Mm-hmm.
Was that sort of a contributing factor in a very heavy penalty count, 9-3 against your team?
Yeah. The ruck was slow for both teams, and I'm not sure that we transgressed as much as we were dished out. So 9 penalties to 3. I think 4 or 5 tackle count restarts. I'm not sure we're that bad. I'll have to look at the pictures, but it made the game really, really difficult. It made it difficult to get out of your own half because we weren't given a chance there. Well, yeah, we'll look at that. Yeah, because it was tough.
Certainly opportunities. Would you have liked more composure, more patience? I think there was an equally high error count on Bradford's part.
Yeah, we've got some learnings from the game. Had we been as patient as Salford were, and you could have to say that they were, I think more opportunities would have come our way. But it's still a relatively new team, and that will come with the learnings every week. That will come. So we just need to have that element of patience and kick the ball in a manner where we can compete for it, and I'm sure we'll get some results from that.
Jim Meadows got sent to the sin bin late on, just before half time.
Yeah.
What was the sort of focus at half time? Because you saw Ryan Brierley immediately after half time exploit that extra space on the field.
Yeah, well, we were disappointed about that, but they played the ball a bit too quickly. We were down to 12, and yeah, well played Ryan Brierley. That's why you pick people like him in your team that can see a hole and drive through it. So, but I don't want to deflect away from all the things that we've done well tonight, and there's lots and lots of things we can do a whole lot better to help get some points on the board and come with a W rather than a loss.
Made a couple of changes. Sam Hallas didn't feature. What's up with Sam?
He was injured. He got a slight groin strain. We think he'll be okay for next week. So yeah, he was a bit of a miss, but I think everybody else, the 17 that have gone out tonight, have shown that we're going to need the whole squad throughout the year, and they performed admirably.
Luke Hooley on his debut.
Yeah, fantastic.
His contribution.
Yeah, I thought he looked the piece. He looked part and parcel of what we do. To only have one session and to jump in and to be that competent, I think he's going to add great value to us.
On that sort of patience and composure, Brian, can you sort of harness, this sort of experience, the sort of like learning curve for your side for back into the bread and butter in the Championship and 1895 in the coming years?
Well, that's important to us. We've got a huge game next Friday against Barrow at home. We've got to start the week in, week out grind, if that's the right expression. We're in the quarter-finals of the 1895 Cup, and whilst a pleasant distraction, this Challenge Cup's been good for us. We've played a couple of Super League teams and understand the levels that we'd love to be at. With a fair win tonight, we might have got a different result. We haven't. That's full credit to Salford in the way that they had to dig deep. They've had their difficult moments, clearly, well documented. But yeah, we understand that we've got to be good next week just to reinforce what we want to do.
Just a final one from me, I don't want to hog it all. You
No.
saw that sort of appraisal at the end, Brian, the 1,500 Bradford fans, and you saw what it meant, that performance. Obviously,
I thought they were magnificent tonight, the fans. I thought they were noisy. I thought they were encouraging. I thought they were everything that you want a fan to be. And I think the players responded to that. I think they saw, what I do know about Bradford fans is if you roll your sleeves up and you have a dig, they'll support you, and that was the case tonight. I don't think they could be disappointed with the performance. I think sometimes you have to give the opposition credit, the desperate situation they were in. They just managed to come out on top in what was a very close game.
Is this a display that you can be proud of, Brian?
Well, I'm proud of the players and I'm proud of their efforts. Of course, yeah. None of us like losing and being disappointed in that respect. So I don't think being proud of a disappointing loss is the right words. I think everybody's shown that the club means a lot to them and performances mean a lot to them, because we underperformed last week against Toulouse. We didn't underperform today. And, sometimes you get beaten by the opposition for whatever reason, and we were beaten by the opposition, and on another day it might have gone our way.
Particularly in the last, let's say, 20 minutes, was it really shown that they were the Super League side and they were able to almost up the ante and put on a different level of energy towards the end?
There's a few lessons there for us. We didn't look after the ball as much as we should have done. Probably didn't kick it as well as we'd have liked to have kicked it. Like I say, I think we only had one good ball set, in their half, in the whole of the second half. That's difficult. One of those was Gilly going down the sideline for a try. So I really don't want to analyse the game too much now. I'd like to reflect for us that I'm really proud of the players and their efforts, and they all recognise that we can be better as well. So that can only all go well if we have that kind of application and understanding that every opposition that you play against, with it being rugby league, you have to respect.
Any fresh injuries we need to know about?
Well, they're just doing a mash unit now. I'm not quite sure. I think Franklin passed his head test, so I think that was one of the issues. I don't think we have any major injuries now.
What does the next 7 days look for you now, Brian? I mean, you just said there that the last 2 weeks you've had have been fairly intense and challenging. Would be for any side trip to France and then over the Super League opposition. Do you look to try and freshen the players up now to get people things right for Barrow?
Yeah, that's a good observation. I think we've played two full-time teams, one who wants to aspire to be Super League like ourselves, they're full-time. Clearly Salford, despite their well-documented efforts, put a team out tonight that could compete in Super League, and we've played them with 6-day turnaround from France, and coming back with part-time players is a challenge. So probably they'll enjoy the weekend, and I hope they do. And then we just got to be a bit more intense on the couple of sessions we get together with them next week to play Barrow on Friday night, which is our home ground and an important fixture for us.